was actually Charm. I thought they retired Asuwaju for me and they started putting Charm. Anyway, man, this was. Yo, you have to give it up for Joeboy, man. You have to give it up for him. Like, it was an impressive album. Going into this, obviously the lineup of singles were already decent. As singles, they were not really like, they were not breaking through the noise. They were not breaking through the saturation that we had of very in your face, very aggressive pop records. Amapiano, heavy, everything. I don't think Joeboy was necessarily appealing to that itch that was, I guess, in the rave of the moment at that time. But essentially, in the context of the album, everything is brilliant. Everything works like he's intended, as he has intended to do. He has come now with a very, very very strong presence as a vocalist. I think, especially with his harmony lines, a lot more charismatic, a lot more flair, a lot more edge to him. Because Joeboy usually just seems like a very safe and calm, doesn't really you know what I mean, doesn't ruffle any feathers, doesn't but I think there was a lot of charisma and a lot of delivery on, especially moments what was the song? Like Chicken Spice and Curry, it was definitely a big one moment in terms of that charisma I could hear. Also on Better too, I could give him a lot more credits too on that. You know what I mean? Just that confidence. I think he's moving a lot more confident recently with these records. And just the synergy with all the producers. All the producers, obviously, they were very different. We had E. Kelly, we had Timmy, we had Dara, we had Tempoe on here. And they all worked together. They all made an experience worthy of bringing Joeboy in his best atmosphere, in his best, just setting him up to win. And I think that's what it did. And it was very cohesive throughout the entire record. The sequencing was great too. Nothing was abrupt, nothing was too sharp on you that came out of left field that left you confused or whatnot. So we didn't get any of that. And it was great, very great sequencing that we had, especially with the interlude in the middle of it. Shout out to Oli Ekun for that. Just breaking the ice a little, not breaking the ice, but just breaking the streamline of songs. And obviously the first half of the album is intense. So going from Normally that opens up the album with Benson and Odumodublvck, it's a very, very appreciative tone. It's saying that he's winning, that he has been, it's he's a lot of gratitude in there. And shout out to Odumodublvck, he came there and did his thing. But I think Benson definitely had a strong moment there. So almost to the point that it's are people going to start watching him on this album? But I don't think that was the case. Immediately we got Body and Soul, a song that worked well, and then Check My Phone. That was a lot of just him showing that, hey, I'm open, and a lot of that lover boy atmosphere, that lover boy aura is still present on this album. It's still evident, man. He hasn't broken out of that mode. It's very safe. It's he still has a brand that he's building on. And so far, there's no huge shift away from what we've had from Joeboy. He's still very much playing into that female audience that is definitely going to connect with this on many songs on this one. Then we had Lose Ya, Duffel Bag, Contour. Bro, this was a very strong opener for the album. The very first 6 songs, very dense, very action, very intense moments that we got, and then we got the interlude, and then things started to blend a little bit in that R&B soundscape, and then Wetin Be Love was there, and then Woman by Oxlade seemed like the oddball here in a little bit because it was a lot more aggressive towards an amapiano, but still in the context of this album, it kind of settled well in this context of this album. And then Chicken Spice and Curry, again, like I said, abrasive runs, and Ludacris came there and he did what Luda does on pop-centered records. Kind of short song, but it was a great, great presence from Joeboy's standpoint. The Better with Tempoe was kind of the weakest moment in this album, really, because again, very, very overdoing it with Tempoe on this one. There were a lot of incompatible mixes and elements I tried to squeeze into this album that I was not really fond of. But anyway, and even on the chorus too. The chorus wasn't as engaging. It just seemed it seemed oddly safe. But then again, we moved forward to the massive banger, Alcohol, talking about his emotions and depression, Afro depression, quote unquote. And then we got Slowly. It is the deepest R&B moment here, I would say. The pace was very, very, very well primed for an Oxlade moment. But I think we still got a good presence from Joeboy, especially vocally on this one. And then Best For You was, again, one of the oddballs, one of the bigger ones, because we had Kemena, who is essentially a different artist from Joeboy, but to see how they could both work in a Kemena world soundscape was a little bit too harsh on this album, a little too like out of place, and it didn't really connect to the just the tone that was already there on the album. And even from the production value of it, it wasn't necessarily matching what we had heard already on the album, so it just felt like the outlier. And then we had Halle just to close up the entire album to say, Omo, we're giving glory, you're giving thanks to God for that sentiment. You know, that very, very like, yeah, like it just feels very like a Nigerian pop album cliche, which is still nice and cozy for him to do here, giving gratitude. And I wasn't mad about that. I love the 808s and log drum mixes on this. This was a lot more compatible than we had heard on the beta, you know what I mean? But shout out to E. Kelly and Timmy for that one. Anyway, that was the closer, and that was it for Joeboy. Strong album. How am I feeling about this one in terms of rating? For the first listen, it's a very strong album. It's sitting at a 9. It's sitting at a 9 for me. It's sitting at a very nice and calm 9. I think it's definitely gonna be, it's a stronger effort that he made, a lot more dynamic effort from his last album, and I appreciate him for that. The charisma is here, the boldness is here, and I think the production value too on a lot of these songs are there. And I'm looking at a 9 right now, man. I'm curious how you guys feel it or have it currently on your first listen. How you guys feeling? All right, I see another 9. I see 8.5. Okay, I can definitely welcome an 8.5 too. 8.59 seems about appropriate for this too. 8.5. Okay, I see that. 9. Of course, somebody wants to be what's it called, Simon Cowell, and giving it a 2. Okay. Anyway, Fawaz 8, another 9. All right, I see that. But shout out to you guys for enjoying this, or going through this album with me. You guys were 88% on Halle. Anyway, that was solid. That was fun.